Now,
Many people.
yeah, talk to me. Let me know what you think about.
Chale the teen in the pen, me my heart in the egg, me I know what to do again. Before teach me before
99.22 FM.
Before teach me before, say nothing may last forever. Breakfast, you no go catch me again the dead time. I'm just about to take it way up and put all of my focus in the making paper to make a work.
Yes, I'm telling you, talk to me. Tell me, is it tricky retiring abroad? This is what we're gonna be talking right now on your home of African music. Oh my God. We are actually live on Facebook, we're actually live on YouTube. Remember to stream live, share it to your friends out there. My main topic today is, as Africans, is it tricky retiring abroad? This is what I've been telling you since the last 1 hour. I'm very sure you guys are prepared to watch and talk to me. Share your views out there. Check us on YouTube, check us on Facebook live right now. Share your views out there. My WhatsApp number +49 163 728 6573. Let me know what you think about this topic today. As Africans who are living in diaspora, is it tricky retiring here, or you might be going back home? What have you done back home? When are you planning to go back home? Are you planning to retire here? That's the question I'm asking you this evening from wherever you may be listening to me from. Talk to me. Your home of African music, 99.2 FM, Stuttgart City to the world. All right, let me know. Talk to me on our social media platforms. Thank you so much for those who are joining me on Facebook. Asanteni sana, thank you so much. Stuttgart City is streaming live. Tell me, the topic today being, is it tricky retiring as African here in diaspora? How do you think about that? When did you come here? And do you want to retire here, or do you want to go home? There's so many things that people talk about. Let's make this clear today. And there's so many challenges that are out here when you are living in a foreign country. But I want you to tell us today, are you planning to retire in Germany? Are you planning to retire in France? Are you planning as an African to retire in Belgium, Finland, USA, Canada, everywhere? What are these? What some challenges are out here? Let's be clear on that. And tell me, I'm gonna be talking to you, you're gonna be talking to me, and let me know what do you think about that. Where do you want to retire? Do you want to retire here in diaspora? Talk to me on our social media platforms. And so many people I can see, thank you so much, are coming in. Oh wow. Thank you so much for those joining us on Facebook, YouTube, your home of African music. Remember to put there Radio RFM, home of African music, and you're gonna get me live on Facebook already. People are streaming in. Thank you so much. I just want to know, as Africans, is it tricky retiring here or in overseas or abroad, as we always call it? I'm gonna be starting reading your comments because it has been an hour since I told you the topic that we will be talking today. So many people are coming in. Thank you so much. All the way from Nigeria, all the way from Ghana, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania. Thank you so much. Lesotho, hey, thank you. And remember to tell me where you're listening me from. Yeah, I'm gonna start with this comment. I really find it totally retiring back home. If Nigerian isn't working, there is always other African countries. My name is Oisobi. Isobi, I guess you're coming from Nigeria, the way you put your comment. Let me continue reading these comments. Tell me where you are listening to me from as African living in diaspora. Is it tricky? How do you see it? Do you want to retire here in diaspora? Do you want to retire here, or do you want to go back home? That's what I want you to tell me right now, from wherever you may be listening to me from. Is retiring overseas a good option to you? Tell me. And before we even go further, and as you all continue, let me know the problems or the challenges that one faces in a foreign country. I can tell you for sure, one, lack of a community. It's very hard. We were to find a community here, and some of you actually on Facebook, on Instagram, and thank you. We are pack animals. We need to belong. We are pack animals. Let me read this. John, thank you so much. John, please tell us where you're listening to me from. The challenge, lack of a community. Let me put it the way he has put it. We are pack animals and we need to belong. Considering the different cultures and habits of other populations, belonging does not come naturally. So, very few communities welcome foreigners with open arms. Very true. That's why we find Africans congregate in certain areas of countries like Melbourne, Sydney, in Austria, in Germany, and north of Mauritius. The main point here is lack of community. Thank you so much. Let me go to Instagram. Reason why am I international about visiting Niger every now and then with my family, even if it means spending all I have worked for on a flight ticket, because I have sealed it in my heart that me and my entire generation are going back home someday. Oluchi Emechebe. Nigerians are not joking. They want to go back home. Let me go somewhere else. Talk to me. Tell me where you are listening to me from. Ray is saying, all I see is an opportunity for us to invest in setting up cultural sensitivity back at home. So do you want to go back home or do you want to retire? So is it tricky for those joining us right now? Is it tricky to retire as an African in diaspora, as an African here overseas? That's what we are talking about. And remember, our social media platforms are quite open out there. If you want to communicate to me, tell me where you are listening to me from and tell me, do you think retiring abroad is an option? Do you think retiring overseas is a good option?
99.22 FM, home of African music.
I can't let this go. Jay Bulland is saying, when people talk about safety back home, I laugh. Yes, we have pockets of insecurity here and there, but more of us, about 60% and more of our extended families back home, are their lives in danger. How is that? So that's why you want to retire in diaspora. Okay. Let me know. My take. Teach your kids to be compassionate towards you and everybody. Do that when I am old. No. Then when I am old, they will be able to take me. So where do you want to retire? The question is actually, as an African, where do you want to retire? Do you want to retire here or do you want to go back home? Let me go back to Facebook. Maybe I'm going to be getting here. They're telling me language barriers. Although the official language can differ. People talking different English. Some of them talking French. The same applies to Europe, Italian, French. Many European countries are quite hostile toward English-speaking individuals. The strategy seems to pay off more often than not, even though one often gets mistaken for an Australian or a Russian. That's why going back home and retiring back home is a good option. Thank you so much. Let me get them. Do you want to retire here? Most of you are talking about they don't want to retire in where are we? Okay, now I understand. I don't know how he put it, but do you want to retire here and be taken care of in these various homes, in these various facilities that you are seeing here around? Are there care homes not only for people that don't have family support or their own houses? I am lost. So back at home, what I understand, most Africans, they don't have homes where they take care of old people than in diaspora. So the question remains again, when you are going back home, who is going to take care of you while you are here and while the kids are here in diaspora? It's a very, very, very confusing thing here. So it will cost you over 2,000 euros to live comfortably in Africa. Poor. So you want to retire here, that's what I'm understanding from you, Olivia Lawson. Thank you so much. Those who are coming in, Nyaife saying, this is a thought process many won't understand. Make us understand actually. My real estate investment now are geared towards retirement. Let's listen to that. If you are a young man abroad earning good money, first step is have a very comfortable home in your state. Think about either Africa or wherever in Africa, and any city if you like. Then buy lots of good lands and just buy for buying sake. Leave them there to be growing with you. Nyeife wants to go home. That means make an investment back home. So where this is people from Canada. I'm so happy that there are lots of people thinking like me. I live in Canada, but will pack my bags and leave to Africa once I retire. Wait, Ezidu, thank you. Hey Nigerians, I told you. It's a certain and nothing will change that. With God keeping me alive, I don't see what I'm going doing beyond the next 15 to 20 years. Kids will be adults and thriving well then. So who will take care of you in Africa? Let me know that about that thing too. Thank you so much. Now let's welcome nurses here. Thank you. I am a nurse in Germany. My second job is rehabilitation and LTC homes. I take care of seniors and that's what I was talking about here. In Africa, do we really have facilities to take care of old people? Africans do take care of their mothers and brothers and alone. But now coming to Europe, how are you going to retire here? For those joining us and asking which topic we have right now as Africans, is it tricky to be retiring abroad? That's what we are asking here today. And most of them, a nurse here from Germany is saying, my second job is rehabilitation and LTC homes. I take care of seniors, and I can tell you for free that the cheapest the seniors at my job pay monthly is around 6,000 to 10,000, depending on the size of the rooms. Now you go. It's around there. It starts from 4,000 to 5,000, but remember there are some insurances that pay for the people in Germany here. I can tell you more of that. I have gone deeper to know what is entailed when you, as an old person, retire here. But thank you so much, Rielm, for telling us that here in Germany. And I'm still in my 40s, but already planning for my retirement in the next 10 years. So Rielm is relocating to Africa when he's in 50. That's what I'm getting to understand. Thank you so much. Keep on coming, keep on sending those. Tell me, as an African, is it tricky retiring abroad or retiring overseas? Where are you? Let me know what you mean, and remember to join us on our social media platforms. Instagram right now, Radio R 99.2 FM. Remember on X, Radio RFM _ TikTok, and remember we are streaming live on YouTube at Radio RFM, home of African music. Let me know, is it tricky as an African retiring abroad? Let me go and take some of your comments here. I just Queen Keller, yes, I read your comment. I can repeat it again for you if you really want it. My take, that is Queen Keller said before, because he's saying I've not read your comment. Yes, I did. My take, pray teach your kids to be compassionate towards you and everybody. Do that when you are old, they will take care of you. That's what she means here. So sister, that is happy. I'm not sister, but I hope you are replying to Queen, I guess. Sister, save, prepare your retirement savings and insurance, and stop the mentality of using children as a collateral for your old age care. All right, there we go. Should we teach our children here in diaspora a lot of does that make any sense? What if they, when you get old, they decide they are not going to back home and you wanted to go back home with them? Who will take care of you back at home? And you came here, you don't even communicate to your neighbors. That's what is happening here. Let me go wider. No one wants to talk about going back home, but it is the reality. James, thank you so much. Retire. GD is saying retiring back in Africa is honestly no brainer for me at this point. Great weather, rich culture, friendly people and family. But what are you doing to create that family when you are abroad? That's another question for another day. The reason you don't see Africans and elders' homes is because they bought a home and paid off before retirement. That's Jay. Jay, thank you. Please write where you are listening to me from so that we can know where you are here in diaspora. So Jay is saying, the reason you don't see Africans in elderly homes in diaspora is because they bought our home and paid off before retirement. They are living in their homes as we do in Africa. So where did they buy the homes? That's what I'm not understanding. So there are so many needs in retirement. Accommodation is just one. Healthcare is my priority, and I'm staying put in North America. Jay doesn't want to go to Africa. That's what it is. Adorable. What are you saying here? You won't. I will go to Africa any day, anytime. Thank you so much. Yes, and Auntie Shaki is saying, I'm always saying it. I'm going back home when I am 65. I prefer doing mommy American than living here. From America. Thank you so much. I told you we're being listened globally. Thank you so much. Tell me, what are you saying? The exact thing I told myself and my husband: retire from here and go back home. Nowhere like home at that age. Most of Africans in diaspora, they want to go. For those who are joining us right now, remember the topic at this particular moment in time in the home of African music. This evening, as an African living in diaspora, is it tricky retiring here in abroad or overseas, as most of you call it? Let me know on our social media platforms. Yes, I will be reading one-on-one on what our listeners are actually writing on our social media platforms, and our WhatsApp number +49 163 728 6573.
99.22 FM, home of African music.
Yes, and I told you I'm going to be reading one-on-one, and that's why I'm here for you. So let me check what people are realizing here. So Sono is saying, will there be a Nigeria in 12 years' time? Oh, wow, that's a good one. Everybody is running out of the Nigeria for who to fix. In 10 to 12 years' time, do you think it will suddenly get better? Just asking. So Nigerians, where are you? Just answer this man so that we know. In 10 years, 10 to 12 years, Nigerians are running out of Nigeria. Is there going to be Nigeria so that people can come from diaspora and retire back home? That's a question to you out there. And I can see Edie is coming up for Sono and telling him possible about 200 million to Japan. Hey, there are more Pakistans, Indians, and Philippines traveling out of their countries compared to Nigerians, and yet those countries do not have the fear or not existing in 12 years. Now you see, there will definitely be a Nigeria in 12 years, and it may become better even if it is hard to believe it is possible, and go back home and retire. Hey. Ashiwa. Hey, that's how we say it in Kiswahili, umekasirika mbaya. Let me know what you think. Is it, as an African, is it tricky retiring abroad? Do you want to remain here for the rest of your life after you work on these elderly homes, after you put your hard work on these streets here hustling in diaspora? Do you want still to retire here, or you want to go back home? And what relationship are you making to people you left back at home? Do you talk to them, or you're gonna be there they don't even know you, and then you find you are trying to find another community that you left, or that which was your community? So let me take something here. Dobby, all the way from Canada, thank you so much for making it clear, all the way from Canada. My advice, if you can afford the care home in Canada, it is better. Oh, so you want to remain old. Old age is not easy in Africa. When you have lived abroad a long time, and when people in Nigeria know that you have lived abroad for a long time, you become a prey. I have to repeat this one. Dobby, all the way from Canada, is saying, my advice, if you are here in abroad, if you are wherever you are, if you can afford a care home, but he is in Canada. Let me just put it in Europe. Old age is not easy in Africa. When you have lived abroad a long time, and when people in Nigeria know that you have lived abroad, so yeah, he's coming from Nigeria, living in Canada. Now I get it. You become a prey. Out of 100 people that will surround you in Nigeria, 2 are honest. Hi, Nigerians. Let me get people from other countries. Let me know, where are you listening to me? Belgium, here we are. 25 years in Belgium as a mental health nurse. Sir, thank you for calling me sir. I will never retire here. Where are you going? I'm going home. My daughter already behaving like Oyibo. I knew Beatrice. Like, I want abroad, no scam for old people, never going. I'm telling you, people want to go to Africa. So those who are joining me at this particular point in time, do you want to retire here or do you want to go back home? That's the questioning I'm asking here today. And joining the conversation from wherever each and every country you're listening to me from, according to the time span you're listening to me, let me know in the comments. Do you want to retire here or do you want to go home? Bangladesh is in the house. Thank you so much on our Facebook pages. For those streaming live, let me know where you're listening to me and if you're in diaspora or if you're in Africa. Do you want your fellow Africans living in diaspora to retire here or to come back home? Or are you forgotten, Live from Stuttgart City, bringing you one-on-one. So here I have Michael. It's Michael's diary. Michael's diary is saying, when the situation in Africa gets better, it will not be as cheap to live there. By then, the factors considered for such decision will be closeness to a family, quality of care, etc. God bless Africa and wherever else we choose to call home. I love that. Home is home. Believe me, that's official doctor. Thank you so much. Who is here again? Queen 18 says, though I live in Lagos, when I retire, I will love to be in my village, surrounded by my family and nature. True that. You see now, even if you live actually in your capital city, do you want to retire there? Do you want to finish your life in the city or you want to go back to the village? For those Africans who are here in diaspora, do you really want to stay in diaspora or you want to retire home? My name is... I cannot read that word. Totally retiring back home. Thank you so much. But your name is actually not clear here. Let me scroll. So many people want to retire back home as Africans, and the question remains: do you want to retire here or do you want to go home? Ago Koli, what are you saying? Ago Koli is saying something here. Give me a minute. My question here is why Africans go and spend all their youthful life abroad, helping building these countries, and when they're getting old, no more strength, and they are approaching the grave, they prefer to go back to Africa. This is a good one. Spend the few years left for them, die in Africa and get buried in Africa. That was a question. Let me rephrase it. You're trying to enter into another question, but this is the same way. For those joining us right now, you know the question is, or we are trying to discuss here, or to know, as an African living in diaspora, do you want to retire overseas? Is it tricky retiring abroad, retiring overseas? What is your take on that? So Ago is coming here and asking this question too. My question here is why Africans go and spend all their youthful life abroad helping building these countries, and when they're getting old, no more strength, and they are approaching the grave, they prefer to go back to Africa, spend the few years left for them, die in Africa and get buried in Africa. That's a question. So he continues and says, neocolonialism. Let me get that clear. Neocolonialism mindset. Africans are not living a happy life. We suffer too much. We go to abroad, work so hard, we don't enjoy life. When we want to retire, we go back to Africa for retirement and die in Africa. So what is our purpose of life for we Africans? You die and get buried in Africa. So what if you come back next life, you still be in Africa and again apply a visa to go abroad? Oh my God. Algo, you're having good questions. It's better you die there in abroad and get buried there, so when you come back next life, you resurrect in Western country, so you don't need to apply a visa to go back there. We, those living in diaspora, our story is very sad. This one is a sad man, and I agree with you, my brother, from wherever you're listening and writing this from. You decided to write, actually. So we are neither living there in abroad nor living in Africa. We are living physically in abroad, but our mind is in Africa. Yet life is too short. We refuse to live the present by thinking too much about the unknown future. Well, you absolutely nailed it. This is Ago. Ago, thank you so much for your comment. You actually said the truth, and I can concur with you. That's what it means when people are having the mindset of dying back home and the way they are living. So, Genau, it is their life and their choice. That's someone trying to tell. Okay, good. Let me now go to Alex. Alex, what are you saying? I was just discussing this issue with a colleague about an hour ago when I saw this post. Sincerely speaking, it is good to retire back home, but the problem is when you start living like a king. You are inviting unfriendly friends. There is no security back home. This thing about security, we need to talk about that. If you sleep with the military men at your gate, won't you go out or travel? What about medical facilities? How many facilities have constant power supply for emergencies, life-threatening situations? Just being real, no offense. Alex is trying to take some sense there to tell our politicians back home, make the roads be good, make the emergency numbers work. 9999, you call and you are told we are coming tomorrow. That's what Alex is meaning. So retiring in Africa can be tricky where there are no emergency calls, where you cannot call 1112 like we call here 112 and they are here on the door. When you call the police in 2 minutes and 7 minutes they are there. When you call the firefighters in 7 minutes here in Germany, actually I have seen that before. I have an experience. When you call a firefighter in Germany, when you call that number in 7 minutes, exactly 7 minutes, they are at your door. That's what happened. So Yomi is saying, by the grace of God, I have only 4 years left in the USA. I will be 62 and qualify for social security benefits. Now we have a security person here. I am out, no place like home, and I never prayed to stay here. If you see how children abandon their parents at their nursing home here, you will think twice before you decide to stay here forever. I agree with you. It's not only in America. If you come to Germany here and you see how children abandon their parents at the nursing homes, my brother, my sister, right now, if you are young right now and energetic, work for your good retirement back home, I'm telling you. Because the day they will decide, you will never decide for your kids when they become 18. Right now you might be paying them in the house, but when it comes to 18 years, they will decide not to go back with you in Africa, because mindset here, everything here, it's not like you who came from Africa and here you have a very different mindset. But if those children stay here, you are in trouble in Africa. Let me talk to something here. Ugandan accent is here and is telling with all respect, this is very primitive thinking that plays into the hands of what I call African wahala. Now let's go with this one. Oh God, you gave us some points. I'm gonna read because this is my work today. The question is for those joining us right now at the top of the hour, 6 p.m. Germany time, CET time, EET time. I think it's right now at 7 p.m. Let me know what you think about this topic. As Africans, is it tricky retiring abroad? Is it tricky retiring overseas? That's what we're talking about here. And the Ugandan accent comes in and said, with all due respect, this is very primitive thinking that plays into the hands of what I call African wahala. Let me see the wahala now. The reason why you don't see Africans in retirement homes is because most of you retire and nothing. Nothing is actually written in capital letters, if I can tell you right now, because you built useless homes back in Africa. So now later in life, you realize you did a big mistake, because the 7-bedroom mansion in Lekki, this is a Nigerian I knew, has brought in zero income in the last 15 years, but sucked you dry, and your kids are not interested in moving to Africa because they have built their own lives somewhere else in diaspora. Now you become a burden to your kids because you tried moving back to Africa, but because of old age, you require a lot of clinical attention, which turns out to be very expensive, cheap but ineffective. So you move back to Europe, America to live with your kids. There we go. I love that. Ugandan accent. You might be talking to some sense or to some people who are here. Let me go to someone else here. Let me check out what's happening on Facebook page. Thank you so much for those being in here. Most of the people are here. Thank you so much. Yes, let me continue reading. I can actually access Facebook from here too. So for those listening to us, remember to watch us live on YouTube. We are actually streaming there live. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what you're thinking about this topic today here. I have 25 years of marathon struggle here, then I'm home. That's why I don't joke with any seconds of time here. That is Johnson. Thank you so much, Johnson. More reasons why we are advocating for the governments to be fixed in Africa is to retire well home. You have a point there. Are you trying to send something home to Nigeria, to Tanzania, to Uganda, so that the roads can be made, but the tax are being paid there and you're paying tax here? That's another thing. So people take for granted the costs of what? Of health care for seniors. We have people that have moved to Nigeria for retirement due to illness in Nigeria. Thank you so much for those who have been joining me. I love it's time is actually not on my side, but I appreciate each and every one of you. The question still remains, as an African, is it tricky to retire abroad or is it tricky to retire back home? Let me know what you think on our comments. Remember, if you're joining us on YouTube right now, you're gonna be checking everything out there, and let me see. We're gonna be answering your comments. Let's try to learn and see what we're gonna do together to know, are we going to retire here in Africa, or where are we in Europe, or are we retiring back home? This is your boy Kanita Richards, the most underrated one, the entire Africa.
Only underground radio station.
This is Radio Ara. This is Overhits. All of Afromusic. Hit it. Overhits. Yeah.
We're nothing but the best music. Mixing the beats. Mixing the beats.
5, 6, 7, 8. This is Radio Ara.
The one you listen to all day. This